My name is Nick Birdsong. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I am the youngest of 6 children. I went to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida, and I've been here in Charlotte for about, I think, 9 months now. And I've been at Christ Central the entire time I've been here, so it's been kind of a long winding road, kind of through the Southeast. I grew up, I guess, always going to church. I was raised in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, AME Church. My mom was over the Board of Christian Education. I mean, we were at church all the time, like Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday for rehearsals and practices and programs, Easter speeches, the whole nine. So I grew up kind of just thinking that God and I were cool. I think the way I always tell people is I thought like God and I were like a team. Like he would be Jordan, I would be Pippen. Together, he was great, I was good. Together we could really do some big things. And so I just kind of grew up like that, and pretty much I had people telling me how good of a kid I was all the time. I did what I was supposed to do in school. I wasn't as bad as a lot of my homeboys and my friends. I didn't smoke, didn't drink, wasn't in the party scene heavy like a lot of people were. I graduated college in 2006, the summer of 2006. And even while I was in college, I went to church. I was even like coordinating Bible studies and stuff like that. But all throughout that time, I don't think I'd ever really heard the truth of the gospel about me being a sinner and how God could not accept me because he was holy. I had 2 post-grad internships, one in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and one in Birmingham, Alabama. And after the second one, which was in Birmingham, came to an end, I ended up going back home, and I was living with my mama. And I'm working at Borders Books and Music, making like $7.25 an hour in the mall that was like maybe 20-25 minutes away from my high school. And I remember seeing people that I thought I was better than when I was in school, because I was going to college and I was getting good grades, come back looking at me like, why are you working in a bookstore? And what happened was I just got really angry with God. I was like, look, I did everything that y'all told me I was supposed to do. I went to school, I got the grades. All of that stuff, why is life not working out for me? So I ended up going through a period of just extreme depression. I remember I would go to work and I would go in my mama's house and just sit there because I didn't want to talk on the phone, because all of my friends tell me about, oh, they accepted this job, they moved into this city. And I was just, really prideful when you think about it after the fact, but I was kind of embarrassed. I Googled like Christian rap, I think, on TV, and I heard this song and it sounded like a mixture of like LL Cool J, I Need Love, and like Jay-Z's Song Cry. And I was like, I knew Christian rap existed, but up until that point I thought it was corny. Another artist that was featured on the song that I originally heard on his page, he had listed all of these dudes like Mark Driscoll and John Piper and Chuck Swindoll and all of these preachers, John MacArthur. I didn't know who any of these guys were, but he had listed them under his influences. I began reading John Piper's sermons, and I noticed how he would just like read a verse and explain a verse, and it started having a profound impact on me. And through that, I started understanding that God and I are not a team, that I'm a sinner, and that there's no way that I can be accepted by God based on what I do, because his law is perfect. And if I broke in his law, then he has to treat me. The wages of sin is death and eternal separation from God. And so I began to understand those things, and I ended up getting a job in Anniston, Alabama. Weird. The guy who was the managing editor, like the VP of operations, actually was bivocational. He was a pastor. I didn't know that at the time. And so he gave me a list of churches to go to. I ended up going to a church called Anniston Bible Church. The first time I go to Anniston Bible Church, I had no clue that it was like a 98% white evangelical, like conservative church. And so I walk in there and I'm like, my manager editor, this black dude, I'm like, this brother done sent me up, like, why am I in here? And I was like, well, it'll be wrong if I at least don't hear the sermon and see what they're talking about. I mean, we're all, supposed to be Christians. And so the guy was preaching, he was in Philippians 3, this guy named Ryan Limbaugh. He's still one of my best friends to this day, so he knows the story, and if he ever sees this video, he's gonna laugh. But I was like, he didn't preach like John Piper, but he was reading the verses and explaining them, and it was connecting with me. He ended up agreeing to disciple me even before I agreed to join the church, and I was like, why would he do that? And the first time I met him, I went to lunch with his wife and their son, And he wanted to know about my life and, asked me all these questions. It wasn't just about getting me to join the church. He really wanted to get to know me. And so we ended up meeting up like once a week. We would meet up, and we would read through a book of the Bible and like a Christian life book. So we would read through like Galatians and like, what Jesus demands from the world. He would give me homework. I had to make 10 observations from the book and 10 observations from the Bible. And then we would talk about them every week. And we did that for like a solid year and a half. And so it really, really grounded me in how to study the Bible for myself, and how to apply the word, and also just insight from whatever I was reading in my own life, because I had to kind of wrestle with it. They just gave me a lot of opportunities to do college ministry, to teach Sunday school, and really did a good job with allowing me to grow in the Lord and growing who I am, and my knowledge of Christ and my love for the church and all of that stuff.